Maybe a quick recap since we haven't seen each other in a long time. I think our last meeting was June, maybe, and
Yeah.
Molly and Sally were not able to make it. So what we did is I think I've said this in the email, I had done a mashup of our current bylaw for the town administrator and the South Padley one. And I think we went through that and we made changes that those are in some of the things that are track changes from when I first put it together and some things we did last week. I've sent this, the version we had made changes to everyone. Yeah. And the next step for us was for you guys to weigh in on anything that you noticed and for people to have reviewed the other towns. I only used South Hadley for a template for this, not Hanover or I forget what the other one we had was. So if people had time to, look through those and see if there's anything in them they wanted in ours or anything that's currently in this draft that they don't want. So we can discuss that stuff and make those changes. That's where we are. The other update is that our Collins Center contract has lapsed, but we're looking into if that just needs like a change the end date thing, because we've already obligated money that they haven't attended all the meetings that they were contracted for, I don't think. My personal recommendation is if we have to pay any more, that it would not be the best use of limited town funds at this time. I think they were extremely helpful the first few months, and I think we can figure it out the rest of the way if we need to. My suggestion is that we come to an understanding on this draft and somewhat disband at that point, finalize a draft and present it to the select board. And if they want us to, do a step 2 someday when we get the town administrator, is there any update on what's happening with that? Maybe Molly?
At this point, the search was put on hiatus. Again, with everything going on with the override,
Right.
Mike has agreed to continue, kind of the joint capacity for the foreseeable future. And then we agreed that once we're through the override, and we know where we're heading, then we'll take that topic up again.
Good. God bless Mike. Yeah, I'm afraid we lose him as the chief if we have him do 2 jobs too long. I'd rather have him in one
I have
than
a
none.
question, given the current status of town finances, will that factor have an impact on the work that we do?
Well, I mean, it does from the standpoint that it's, if we're making a staffing recommendation, we're setting a direction that we think the town should head in. Right? But how we get from here to there is a whole other conversation. And that may need to be factored into the discussion about how the future budget is constructed. You know what I mean?
So the incremental cost of proposing a zoning bylaw amendment, or not a zoning bylaw, a general bylaw amendment to redefine the select board and the town administrator is nominal. We're going to be we have 2 town meetings a year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of staff time that goes into, and a little bit of town council time that goes into reviewing it. But there really isn't a substantial cost to going this route. I honestly don't know what the cost would be to go the special act route. I imagine that's not much more dollar cost. That probably is a much larger time cost.
I feel less optimistic about passing a major change today than I did as of our last meeting. Change seems to be an issue. So I think that the lesser thing, the bylaw, does make a lot of sense.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Anyone-
I did have one question about, the, red line version of this. Is it okay to jump into that now, or?
Let's do it.
Okay. At some point, it referred to the select board and the appropriations committee.
Did I not catch that?
I mean, so we don't have an appropriations committee
Right.
per se.
Gotcha. I tried to eliminate everything that doesn't exist. But
Can you do a find, like find the word?
I've got all these.
Yeah, I think it was towards the,
My little, oh, there it is.
Isn't that just another phrase describing the finance committee?
Totally blanking. What was it called?
Appropriations.
Thank you.
Where is that?
And it is approval of both the select board and
oh, here it
appropriation
is. Yep.
finance. That's what we would have.
Well,
Under admin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our finance committee doesn't really, does,
Yeah.
Approve.
Yeah, the finance committee doesn't approve their advisory to the select board.
Okay.
So I think this is language we'd want to play around with to make sure it's accurate.
Doesn't the finance committee present to the town meeting?
I'm sorry, John, what?
In Hadley, isn't the finance committee's job to present a budget to the town meeting?
Mhm.
well, let's just say it has been at in various phases, it has been, and, but they don't prepare the budget anymore.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's something that, whatever we draft here, we'd certainly want to run it by, the financial team at town hall, for comment as well.
Absolutely. Sorry, that is bothering me. Oh, is somebody taking notes? Who's our roving minute taker? Not John.
I could take notes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just to type up.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be much.
Okay, yep.
Sorry. Good catch. Thank you for that. Was there more appropriations?
That was
Appropriations,
the only place I think I saw it.
Town's Appropriations Committee. No, it's still in there. I'll make a note to find a new place. Do we want to put? So with the approval of the select board, do we want a clause that says upon consultation with, or just want to be silent as the finance committee? Their role is their role. It doesn't need to be in this.
Yeah, I don't know that it does. I mean, because their role is defined.
No, if
Yeah.
if it ever
Yeah,
changes, we don't
right.
have to change this and wherever that is defined.
Mhm.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking notes at the same time. All right, thank you, Molly, that's helpful. So for the sake of those who weren't here last time, there's the first part of this is a section about the select board, which was in the South Hadley version. Hadley doesn't have that I could find anything that says what the select board does. So I didn't know if we wanted to include a section like that and, make it very clear what their roles and responsibilities are, or just leave it as it is and go straight to the town administrator in this document.
I
Personally, I like having it in here.
Do you like it?
Yep.
I like it.
Okay.
I think it's important
Mhm.
to, lay out the chain of command,
Mhm.
I
I
agree.
to
agree,
be clear.
yeah,
I thought it was odd that there wasn't an existing
yeah,
document.
especially when
It's
you
no
look at
bylaw.
those organizational
Fine.
charts, you know.
Yeah,
It feels
but-
like having it in text is really good.
Not to wander into the other battleground going on, but I think we had at some point like a not just the org chart, but did we ever see like all the positions that the town has? I know that's not our role, but I think that's, you know, what a lot of people are
Mhm,
wondering about, like, who are all these people and what do they do?
mhm,
So, you know, the fact that we don't even say who this, what the select board does, you know, that's sort of a gray area that doesn't need to exist. We don't need to define what, you know, town department laborer 6 does,
Right,
but, you know, the select board,
Yeah, seems kind of important.
yeah, seems like it. Not less people willing to be on the select board.
mhm,
So this document that we're working on, is this the bylaw amendment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have I can pull up on our current bylaw, it's quite brief, it's just, you know, it's a lot of the same things, it's just this is wordier.
mhm,
And, you know, it covers some more stuff, but it's. You can go too far down the road of trying to explain everything in a document, but it can
Mhm.
also be a little too Spartan, which I think
Mhm.
maybe our current one is a bit too Spartan. And, you know, if we can really spell out an enhanced role for the administrator, it might make it a more attractive position
mhm,
when we finally re-advertise.
Yeah.
You know, if they know that they don't have to, you know, go to the select board quite as often as it currently looks like they do. Not that they wouldn't keep the board informed about everything, but you know, you don't have to make sure you don't make a move until the next
Mhm.
meeting. It can get on the agenda and you brief them. Like, you can do this,
That was
make the
That
decisions
was the
and then tell
biggest
them.
complaint I
Yeah.
heard from employees,
Makes sense.
that it took too long by going through the board of selectmen who didn't necessarily know
Mhm.
the answer.
mhm,
Right. And yeah, don't need to be,
Frustrating.
don't need to be bothered with
mhm.
certain level of minutia about the town. It should be policy based, as we've discussed. So, I will ungray this because it sounds like everyone's on board with having a select board
Mhm.
section, whether it says exactly what this current draft says, it is not important at the moment, but yeah, it's a short section.
Mhm.
Did anyone have any thoughts? I don't know if people had time, I know we had 3 months, but if people have time to really look at the other documents and think about what provisions they might want to see in our document.
I thought the South Hadley proposal was very effective.
Yeah.
Seemed to have good language that clarifies the responsibilities and roles.
Mhm.
I agree, Joe.
Yep.
It was very straightforward
Mhm.
and fair
Mhm.
to both sides. I thought it was excellent.
That seemed to be the consensus, that's why I used it as the
Mhm.
baseline here.
Yep.
I just wanna, you know, if there's something better we want from another one, we can easily switch in and out. If, I'm trying to think like the best way forward. I've already sort of taken the liberty of doing this and I've decided myself what things to drop out, or I've put them. I haven't eliminated anything big that was in the South Hadley one, and sometimes I have, I think, notes about things that I've added in. But I don't mind just making an actual draft that people can tear up and then bring,
Mhm.
like, you know, mark it up.
Yep,
I mean, it's close. I can tighten it up and then if send it out to you guys, and if you have time to like mark it up, and then we can just go over specific changes
yeah,
Sure.
at a meeting,
Yeah.
instead of, you know, just scrolling through this. I find it very hard to read on a screen and think through
Well, after we come to somewhat of a committee agreement on the language of what we're proposing.
Yeah.
Would it then make sense to send to the select board to examine?
Yeah, and I guess I would think so, and I'm wondering, we do have a bylaw committee,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
should go to,
so I don't want to do an end run around them, but we want to make sure that, I'm not sure how frequently they've been meeting and, I would think we would want to prioritize this. So we'd have to get their agreement to do so.
do you think we should, run it by the, for the nuts and bolts, run it by the people at town hall before we worry about any other committees or boards? So just make sure we have the actual
Makes sense.
facts of how things work, right?
Yeah, that would certainly be my recommendation.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there anyone, do we have questions about anything? Do we want to bring anyone else in, or we just want to finish up something on paper and clean up the final language and be done? Is there anyone that you guys have wanted to talk about their role or how it fits with the town administrator? Anything like that?
Well, John, you got feedback from South Hadley representatives, and they seem to be pleased with the process and the outcome.
Yes, and one of the things I asked them if they'd be willing to come to this group, and the answer was positive. And it wasn't from the administrator, she was out that day, but I think they're willing to help us if we wanted it.
Right.
But might be interesting to have a open conversation with them about you could ask them if they were here, what problems they encountered, and if the wording here is to solve a problem that they had, and how's it working out? It's always amazed me that there being 351 cities and towns in the Commonwealth, why that we don't merge the ideas. And I mean, somebody's encountered the problem, whatever it is, before.
Right, yeah, there isn't enough
Almost
cooperation. As I think Mike Mason said, the first meeting, you'll never find a town quite like Hadley. For many reasons, but the commercial corridor down the center and then, hill towns basically on each side of it. It is an odd.
I think I remember the image, you said Hadley is West Springfield in the middle.
Yep.
And Sunderland or Deerfield on the periphery.
Really
And
good
that's true.
point. Yeah. That it's. So I think it's also. South Hadley is, I think, a lot bigger than us, but Hadley, I think, faces issues that a bigger town normally would because of that Route 9 aspect. There's just a lot. I mean, the planning board seems to be meeting every time I open up Facebook.
Well,
There's plenty
Yeah.
to do.
don't forget, South Hadley has the north-south highway running through the middle of it.
Yeah, it's not quite Route 9 though.
No. And then they have the shopping malls on either side of it. So in some respects, they're very similar.
Yeah, they're agonizing over rezoning their Route 202 corridor.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause they have financial issues. They have a whole financial task force, I think.
Oh, wow.
But get it off the select board's plate. Good move, select board. Yeah, everybody seems to be dealing with this health insurance thing, which is crazy. Costs.
So my question is, once we make progress with this bylaw amendment. And it goes through different review by different individuals and so forth, and we feel good about it, then what's the next step after that?
Good question.
Once we've got
Do we have
through
to
like
have town meeting
town
for
hall,
approval?
yeah, I believe that's correct. Molly and Bill are our experts on town government. So we present it to the select board after, talking to town hall relevant people and the bylaw committee. And then we have a draft and we give it to the select board. Well, I think his question is what happens then?
Yeah, so it would have to be adopted by town meeting.
And then goes to town meeting.
So we would send it out to town council for review.
Okay.
And then it would presumably find its way to a warrant.
Good times.
Mhm.
And so we would wanna, so we can work backwards, we wanna get this on what the next annual town meeting, is that even doable? So we wanna have something ready to give to the select board by when, you said?
For the annual town meeting, well, I mean, I think I can confidently say that the budget is going to be consuming an awful lot of time, no matter what direction we're heading in. But I think, certainly if we could get something by the end of the year, that way the select board could kind of take it up, knock it off, decide whether or not to move forward before we get too far into the budget season, because then the appetite for other major discussions tends to wane.
Mhm.
What do you think, Bill?
The chance to vote yes for something at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Negative, like, how about this one? Y'all get along? So my proposal is I tidy this up a bit more
Mhm.
based on our discussion from last time and good catch by Molly this time. Send it out to you guys
Mhm.
and at our next meeting,
Yep.
each of you have some input on it. Even if you say like, this is the best document I've ever seen. It seems like, but at least, everyone has to go on the record with where they want to go next or.
Well, at least we know that the South Hadley proposal was reviewed and
Yes.
legally
Yes,
legitimate.
It's gone,
right.
it's gone through this state house and council and all that, so the more heavily we lean on previously
Mhm.
approved language,
Yeah.
the easier it is to get through. So,
Should be.
well, that's how the state works.
Yes.
Although I just as an aside, the Attorney General's office reviews bylaws. They don't necessarily review acts of the legislature. So, but it's a good start, and it would be a good argument to make to the Attorney General's office that look, this mimics the special legislation in South Hadley.
Mhm.
Parallels, I should say, not mimics.
Yes, parallels, I like that.
Tracks closely. Okay, so. That doesn't seem like there's anything else we need to do.
So my question is, once this goes through select board review, town meeting approval and so forth, then is our work done or is
That's,
there,
I mean, up
do we
to,
return to the whole idea of the charter?
I think that's, the select board would decide if they want us to do anything else and,
Mhm.
with the understanding that we might all say we don't want to do anything else. But I would think that'd be something, let the select board say, have we accomplished what they wanted us to accomplish, or would they like us to go back? If we ever have a town administrator, I don't see any point in doing anything else with it until someone's actually in the role doing it. If we get it passed, we have the new change.
Mhm.
Someone needs to do it before there's anything else to
Mhm.
talk about, I think.
Yeah, I think that, go ahead.
I think that's why we were leaning towards doing it through a bylaw rather than special act, because we can get it out there, see how it works for us. If we have to change it, we can change it relatively quickly. And
Right.
then I'm really thinking if someone's going to be talking about a charter, that's probably going to be a few years down the road because I don't think there'll be money in the budget for a consultant anytime soon.
Exactly.
Makes
And
sense.
I do think there's some other, ideas floating around about potential changes. So like we talked before, the committee can always, complete one initiative and then take a hiatus until something else is put on our plate too, without completely, disbanding, if you will.
I think that makes sense. And who knows, there may be a groundswell of interest in town government. Now that everybody's all activated. Want to get involved. We could have a larger committee.
One can only hope.
You never know.
Mhm.
You just, sometimes good things happen. Not very often, but sometimes. All right, anything else? Other questions that we can make Molly and Bill answer?
That's everything. Mhm. Everything.
So we have an agenda and discuss, determine whether a special act bylaw amendment may require changes to day-to-day supervisory authority.
Bless you for reading the agenda. I write it and I forget what's on there. So I think that's, I'm getting at with, is there anyone else we want to talk to about their role? No, nobody seemed to have any concern, so I don't think we're really changing any reporting. I think we've decided not to change any reporting lines. Am I remembering that correctly?
I thought that more department heads would report to the town administrator on the new arrangement rather than reporting to the select board.
Mhm.
Okay. But we're not gonna change like lower level people. We weren't gonna go into that detail where we.
No, I think that has to be left to the operating people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we had those strange outliers, which, they're just outliers, so they can be outliers. Like, I think the planning board has at least a part-time of one of our town employees reports directly to them, not to the town administrator. And maybe there's another,
Well,
Maybe-
technically, she does report to the town administrator because she is scattered.
for other roles.
She's the conservation agent, so she manages the Conservation Commission, the ZBA, the Community Preservation Act, and the Planning Board.
Wow.
So she's really not responsible to any of us directly.
Right.
It's more that she is as a town hall employee under the general supervision of the town administrator.
Okay.
So for instance, if she wants to take time off, she doesn't need to get approval from 4 boards. She
Oh my
just,
God.
Right.
Can you
Right.
imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna need you next week, sorry.
Yeah, I think the ones that came up in our initial discussions were the assessor or the assistant assessor reports to a board of assessors with a dotted line to the town administrator. I think the park and rec director also has a board she reports to with a dotted line. So I think, the town clerk currently is elected and doesn't report to anybody, right? I mean, they're an elected official, they can do what they want. So I think those are some of the other conversations that at some point we may want to have. But I think this is a great starting point.
We could put in, for any, just a clause sort of like, for any town employees who report to a board, their day-to-day employment, like terms and conditions of employment will be overseen by the town administrator or something like that, just a catch-all,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
slips go to the town administrator, not to. Although the library is a whole different thing too, right? They do what they want, is that correct? And the school committee's a completely different thing, I think. And
Yeah, none of this has anything to do with the schools. There's definitely a
That's a whole
firewall
different.
there. Mhm.
They're doing it, they can keep it. Okay, I understand. Anything else?
Oh, when's our next meeting?
When's our next meeting? Great question.
Hmm.
We were trying to do the first Thursday, is that correct? But we got preempted this month, but. There's.
Okay.
The second. Yom Kippur, is that an issue?
Yeah, that's just next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 25th is next week, 2 weeks from now. So there are 5 Tuesdays in October. So does that change whoever had conflicts?
Oh, we usually meet on the Thursday, so.
Thursday, yeah,
Yeah.
5 of them.
Mhm.
I'm fine with any of them.
Well, we want to give you time to make your revisions.
I don't work, so I can, I don't have triple class tomorrow morning. I can use that time to do this and get it out to you guys, so you have as much time
Oh, great.
as possible.
What's the second Thursday in?
The
It's
9th,
October 9th.
Right.
Yeah.
I will have conflicts on both the first and second Tuesdays of October. Our first and second Thursdays of October, excuse me.
Third.
how's 16th look?
I will have a conflict. Sorry.
23rd?
Fine.
I've got a conflict.
Oh.
Well, we don't always all have to be here, but it is
Yeah.
great if we, 30th, what's that? How's the
Great.
30th look?
Great.
Fine.
Busy people on the screen?
It's the day before
Yeah.
So
Halloween, but we'll be okay.
the 30th is clear. The only problem I have with that is that we've lost another month,
Yeah.
which means it's getting even though town meeting is in May, between the budget and other odds and ends, it's already tight to be making the annual town meeting.
Right.
If we
How
could,
many people have conflicts on the 16th? How many?
Me?
You? Anyone else?
Yep, Bill and we have the Housing and Economic Development at 6 o'clock, but 5 o'clock would work
Yeah.
for me.
We never seem to go past 6,
Mm-mm.
so I hate to leave you behind, Sally.
That,
but
well, it's my own problem.
I think we'll go.
we could do just out of curiosity, is Wednesday the 8th good for everyone or anyone have a problem there? It's not a select board night. No, I'm sorry, it is a select board night. Never mind.
Strike that.
Well, no, the first
No,
and
no,
first and
First-
third.
right.
Okay, so just throwing it out there, is the 8th open for everyone?
I have a
Yes.
5:30 commitment, but if we did like 4:30,
Does 4 work for people?
yeah,
Hmm. That used to be an issue for me, but
I teach at UMass till 3:45, but I could get over here as soon as I could.
Yeah. 4 o'clock is on the 8th. All in favor? Aye. All right, let's do it.
Okay, that's my calendar right now.
And 2, or don't forget.
October 8th.
Now, there wouldn't be anything going on with the senior center at that hour.
Ooh.
At 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I don't.
They close at 4 o'clock.
They close.
Oh, perfect.
Does that work for you, Alex?
Yeah.
That's not too early for you?
No,
Oh, soccer. Oh, you're not doing soccer yet? Or.
we're working on it.
It's always something.
Hmm.
Okay.
You have to
Okay.
teach me how to use the camera. I'll film some soccer games for you.
I might take you up on that.
Oh, nice.
Only on ice skate though. No rain games.
Doesn't
Well,
look like it's gonna rain ever,
That's
again.
also a problem.
I know, it's a huge problem.
But, one thing at a time.
Yep.
Alert. Okay.
Okay, so Motion to adjourn then?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All over, bye.